Hey, you found Click with Rona. Each episode of this podcast, I'm going to be interviewing people that inspire me, and I'm going to share their magic, their journey, and their success. The word click has a special meaning in my heart because it was my secret word that I chose with my grandma as a child. When we listen to these people, you're going to notice when it clicked for them. Sit back, grab your headphones, and just click with us. This is my good friend Josiah from Epic Ceramic and Stone. That's amazing. That's awesome.
It sounds funny now, like looking back on it, it sounds kind of crazy. At the time, it just, like most things in my life, it just...
Wow. What did that feel like for you? That's a pretty big accomplishment.
And I took on a couple of pretty big endeavors. There were a couple of times during that journey where I thought, wow, this is really...
Well, I'm super excited to have you here. This is my good friend Josiah from Epic Ceramic and Stone, right?
That's it.
Okay.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. This is our very first podcast, so I'm really excited to have you because I can tell you that I actually got to experience a little bit of podcasting with you, and thank you for being here. I'm honored to have you because I love your story, and I love that we've kind of had this synergy together, and we've kind of done this talk, and this is kind of a dream come true for me that we're sitting in this really cool space that finally are getting to use it. And so I just wanted to have you here today with me as my first guest and tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. This is a really, really amazing designed studio. Of course, I'm not surprised by your creativity and beauty. So thanks for putting it together and letting me be a part of it. Yeah, my name is Josiah Lilly. My company is Epic Ceramic and Stone, and we are a high-end tile and stone installation fabrication company focused mainly on projects here in Southern California. And
a little bit about you. I got the chance to work with you on one of our really cool projects this last year, our Newport Nantucket home, and it was such a fun project to collaborate with you. And I think where we got our start of talking in front of a camera actually was you asked me if I'd be a part of your behind the scenes. So you have a little bit of familiarity with doing this and talking about your projects. So I would love you to share a little bit of how you even got into the stone world or fabrication. I would love people who are listening to understand who you are, where you came from, and how you got on this journey.
So it's a pretty interesting story. I was actually raised in a very religious household, so education and career wasn't really much of a focus. And when I was 16 years old, my parents didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to help support myself to pay for my piece of crap truck and my clothes and things that a 16-year-old guy wants in Southern California. So I got a job with a friend of my father's doing stucco. I didn't want stucco, didn't really interest me, but it was, right, once again, wasn't really super career at that time. So I got a job doing stucco. I was there, and on the second day on this project, the tile guy approached me and he said, "Hey, can you read a tape measure?" And I was kind of like, weird question. I'm like, of course I can read a tape measure. Who can't? He said, my helper can't. Why don't you quit doing stucco and come back to work for me tomorrow doing tile? And I've always loved design. I'm really creative, love art. So I thought, well, tile seems way cooler and way more, in my interest than stucco. So I said, sure. So I came back to work for him that next day, same project, and started my career in tile and stone.
So wait, you were 16?
I was 16 at the time. Yeah, I was doing homeschool.
Okay.
I was in 10th grade doing homeschool and and working.
That's awesome. So you're working, you were doing homeschool, so you're going to job sites or after, or how did that work?
So it was a homeschool that was in Huntington Beach. You would go in once a week, check in with a teacher. Okay. She would give you a week's worth of work. So I could work during the day and do homework at night, and then go in once a week to check in and do my tests, get my grades. And I always was pretty good at school. But I've always been extremely entrepreneurial, always loved to work, started hustling when I was probably about 11. I was cutting grass, hired some other kids to cut grass for me, got more accounts, was delivering newspapers. I've always been a hustler. And
okay, so you've always had that little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in you as a child, right?
Always. I remember, I think I was 14 years old. I went to Big Bear, and my dad had let me use his credit card to buy lift tickets. And if you bought a certain amount of lift tickets, well, you could get a student discount. So I would go buy lift tickets, and then I would go to the parking lot and sell them. And so I remember my friends were all going snowboarding. I was 14, and I made like $1,500 in the parking lot in like 2.5 hours, and then snowboarded all week for free. So yeah, I've always kind of seen opportunities and been interested in business and seeing how you could turn a quick dollar and hustle work. So it's kind of in my DNA.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so fast forward, now you're 16, now you're doing tile, and tell me a little bit more about that. Then what happened?
So just once again, being so entrepreneurial, I was watching him, what the different methods we were doing and his types of installations, and just asking lots of questions, going, why are we starting here? What's the reason we're doing this? And just trying to learn
Right.
what the basis was for the different types of installation we were doing. And after about a year of taking lots of mental notes and learning as much as I felt I could, when I was 17, I decided to start my first stone company. So I started Epic when I was 17.
Seriously.
Yeah, I took my GED. Officially, I got out of school, and then started Epic. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
It sounds funny now, like looking back on it. It sounds kind of crazy. At the time, it just, like most things in my life, it just made sense. It wasn't crazy to me at the time. I just like, I think I've got this, and why would I work for him any longer when I can work for myself? So I just
So my son is 17 right now. I'm going to go home and say, slacker.
yeah, it was an unusual circumstance, but it's just it made sense at the time.
Okay, so did you like take all the steps that you like a business owner would have to do? You filed taxes. You like what did you do? Did you have an employee? Your first? How did you start?
So yeah, so no, I didn't. That's one of the challenges of starting so young and taking your GED in high school is, I learned a lot by the school of hard knocks,
Right.
a lot by trial and error. If I could go back in time, of course, I would do certain things differently.
Sure.
Yeah, but I had a helper to help me and just slowly started building the business. I ended up moving to the Caribbean when I was 19. So I lived in the Caribbean for 3 years, in Virgin Islands, and then Puerto Rico. I did tile and stone in Puerto Rico. My brother actually moved down there when he was 17 to live with me and help me. So he was my first real employee was my brother. And I did tile and stone in Puerto Rico, and then moved back to the States when I was 21. And then that's when I really started building Epic.
And so where was your first job around here, would you say?
My first real contract, was a 6-figure contract. My first small job, I can't even remember. That's been so long, a long time ago. My first real big contract, 6-figure, was was Villa Park. It was for the guy who owned all the rights for Harley Davidson. He didn't own the motorcycles, but anything that had Harley Davidson's name on it.
Wow.
The builder who gave my first job was a builder named Steve O'Neill. O'Neill Development. We're still in contact. He's retired, but we still stay in touch. We texted actually a couple of days ago. He was the first guy to trust me and give me a contract for about $150,000.
Wow. And what did that feel like for you? That's a pretty big accomplishment. Right? That's one of those moments that you go, okay, is that a moment that you felt like I made it or I'm still impostering? What?
I think it shows you the possibilities. There's always a certain level of intimidation, and I think if you're not a little bit intimidated, if you're not a little bit scared, you're probably not on the right path. Because I feel like if you're in the path of growth and challenging yourself, you should probably never be completely comfortable.
Yes.
So I embraced that in life. But so I felt pretty excited to be where I was, but also knew that I had to prove myself.
Yeah.
And I luckily, from that moment on, I would say that from that point to the rest of his career, I probably did 95% of his work. He was extremely loyal, so that first relationship lasted as long as he was in business.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. I didn't know that. I knew a little bit of it. I didn't know the full story. So now you're 21. You've got your first big, accomplishment under your belt. So where are you going now? Like what stumbling blocks are you finding yourself? What setbacks, I guess?
Well, one of the biggest challenges was being that young. I think I looked probably about 3 or 5 years younger than I actually was. So trying to go on to job sites or meet with builders who are, 20, 30 years your senior,
Right.
and they're looking at you going, I'm going to give you a contract for $100,000, $200,000 was challenging
Sure.
because you're asking for a lot of money, asking for a lot of trust, and not didn't have that much of a rapport
Right.
behind me to really stand on. So just being able to, I think I've always been able to speak to people with authenticity
Right.
and speak from the heart and have a strong belief in myself. So along the way, I was able to, and I didn't try and take on more than I thought was, feasible.
Right.
I wasn't trying to get crazy, but we took on that job. It was successful. And so I slowly started building just a good reputation.
Yeah.
And our focus was always quality, integrity, and a high level of service. So just started slowly building my reputation as I could. I remember hiring my first non-family employee and looking at him and knowing he had a family and kids and taking that responsibility super seriously, as I still do, and thinking he's going to feed his family and pay his rent based on the work I give him. And that was pretty scary. That was actually scarier than signing that contract because his family was now depending on me. And so I told him, I've got work this week. I think we have work next week. I can't promise you, but if you're willing to see what we can do. And he came on board, and luckily he kept paying his rent and kept feeding his family.
I think that's actually, I can relate. That is one of the biggest, scariest things as being an entrepreneur, and kind of bearing that weight of the responsibility that you are now responsible for other people's livelihoods.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility. One, like I said, I still take very, very seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think along the way, what you said to me really resonated with your values. I mean, how your values, that you obviously had those values from a very early age. You talk about authenticity. And that's what I feel. And I think when you and I met, I really connected with you. I'm like, this guy's really authentic. And to me, I want to surround myself with those types of people. And that's how I operate in my life. And I think that intrigued me about you and a lot of our circle that we surround ourselves with. Those people are very authentic. And so how would you say, you're obviously going to come across people that don't have that in your career. How would you say, like, from 21 on, and here you are now, how much that matters today?
I think having people skills, which I think is based on true authenticity, I think it's the greatest gift you can have. I think you could put me anywhere in the world,
Right.
with a shirt on my back and a pair of pants, and come find me in 6 months, and I'll be okay because I can speak to you with authenticity. I can look you in the eye.
Yeah.
I will do what I tell you I'm going to do. If I don't know how to do it, I'll tell you that, and I'll
Yep.
figure it out. But I think that's what scares me about today's kids, is not being such a digital world. They lose that human connection, that authenticity, that personal touch, because they live behind a screen. And I think it's so important to be able to look people in the eye,
Yes.
talk to them, speak from the heart. Don't know something, say you don't. Don't
Yeah.
be a bullshitter, because I think when people don't come from that place, it's pretty clear. You can read through it. And when you find people that do, it creates a strong connection quickly. That's why people like you and I
Yeah.
bonded quickly. And those are the people to me those are people that could be in your life forever.
Right. And those are the relationships you want to have. And those are the people. I mean, I remember when I started in this industry, it's been, 20 years now. My company started 18 years ago. I am still connected with some of the very first people that I connected with as trades. And you have these relationships, and those are the ones that will carry you throughout your career. And I think those are the relationships that help you to succeed. And it is a huge networking of people who really value those same things.
And when you build those relationships, it's very, it builds connectivity, and it's like a tree with branches that leads to other opportunities, and then those relationships bring you other kinds of business. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely. I would agree to that. Okay, so now here we are going through your career, and what would you say that moment was that you realized you're on the right path? Or was it just kind of like, just keep going, or what was your guiding force, like that voice inside your head that was telling you, yeah, you're doing the right thing? Or did you ever have any moments that you go, I don't know what I'm doing, why am I doing this?
There have been moments. So Epic is my main business. I started some other companies in the stone space along the way. They were like more in they're in the material supply side. A couple of times during that journey where I thought, wow, this is really. Are you sure you know what you're doing? I've always had a strong self belief, and never pure doubt. But there were times I thought, man, you got some guts, kid, and you know. But I think just building those relationships and trusting that and seeing those relationships grow.
Right.
Right. I think that's what lets you know that you're on the right path. When you do a job, the guy trusts you. His other people coming. I remember the one Steve O'Neill told me like, hey, this other company calls me all the time to take my business away. He's like, but you've always been good to me. You do what you say. I love your work. I trust you. And
Yeah.
trust is a
Trust.
huge thing,
Yeah.
right? It's ultimately that's what our clients are giving us is their trust, right? They're giving us a lot of money, giving us a lot of their money to do something, and trusting that we're going to do it well.
Right.
I would say, you know, we're turning houses into homes. Right, it's where they're going to, especially what we do with the tile and the stone space. You're in kitchens, you're in bathrooms. It's the place they're going to feed their families. It's the bathroom they're going to give their baby its first bath. Right, these are such beautiful moments in our life, and we're the ones putting these finishing touches on and creating those environments in those spaces. So it's a privilege to be able to do that. And it's a responsibility, and they're trusting us to do it. So when they give you that trust, and then you do a good job, and then they continue to give it because you've earned it, then to me that's what lets you know that you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Trust it's a big part of our process, and we kind of go over that with our clients in the beginning. It's just like, trust us, because you take honor in the fact that they've chosen you, they've selected you, and now it's like, now we get to do what we love to do, and they trust you from that. How many employees do you have now? Because you've grown the company from the early days. Where are you now?
Yeah, I didn't have enough family members to grow, so I had to go outside of that. Epic's right around 95 employees right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you ever think that you would be here?
You know, it's funny. I very rarely have those moments. I don't allow myself to have many moments where I look back and think about my journey or pat myself on the back. But every once in a while, I'll walk through my shop and I'll see all these trucks and I'll see all these guys running around. I'll see this huge building and these mountains of tile and jobs that we're doing. And I'll be like, man, the 17-year-old kid started a company and look at this. It's pretty, you know, like I said, a lot of people want to just gloat on whatever they've accomplished. And I'm kind of the opposite of that, maybe to a fault. But there are moments where I'm just like, wow, I never envisioned it sorry for the long answer, but no, I'd never envisioned it when I started out. And it's just really, it makes me proud of what I've been able to accomplish, and also the team or family, as I say, our Epic family that I've been able to create along the way. I've got employees who have been with me for over 20 years. And told me they've been able to buy their first house because of working with Epic, and they started a family, and that's, you know, so rewarding for me. That means everything to me. I can get emotional talking about that because that really creates so much value for me that I've had an impact on people's lives like that.
It's pretty amazing. You should be proud. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a question that I want to ask everyone that comes on here, because for me, this is an important aspect of this entire podcast. Is throughout my career, throughout my life, there's been these defining moments that it almost like, and listening to people's success stories, there's that moment when it clicks. Did you ever have a moment where it just clicked? Like you knew that was the pivotal moment, or a conversation or anything that just you knew that you were doing what your purpose was?
I don't know that I had that exact moment. I got the closest thing to that might have been when he asked me about if I could read a tape measure, because I knew stucco wasn't what I wanted to do. I know I've always been really creative and artistic, and my dad used to always say, if you're going to do something, do it right. So if you tell me to sweep a floor, even to this day, I will take pride in sweeping that floor as good as it can be swept. I don't want to do some half-assed job. I want it to look amazing. I don't want to do anything like I'm just phoning it in.
Right.
I want to give it my all. So when I took on when the tile opportunity opened, I saw that as a way to express my creativity, and I always knew it would be at the highest level. I would never be the guy who wants to do like production work or be doing tile and, white 12 by 12 tile in malls. I
Yeah.
want to do something on the higher end that was really custom, a true like artistic expression. So I knew that. And I think that moment was, like once again, growing up, we weren't taught to focus on a career. We were taught, living for the new world, so to speak. So career wasn't really my mind. But when that happened, the opportunity, that kind of really gave me the foundation to build on. And then it kind of went from there.
Love that. So there was kind of that moment. It was the tape measure moment.
I
That's when
actually designed these T-shirts. They're kind of like Andy Warhol like shirts, and it says it all started with, and it shows a picture of a tape measure and 4 like art pop colors, and
That's awesome.
Yeah, so the tape measure is what started it all.
So you have a creative mind, so that's a big part of it, right? I love that. I could see that T-shirt. I'd buy it. Okay, so where do you see yourself going? Where are you at now? Like, do you feel like you've made it?
So that's an interesting question. One thing that's happened for me in the last couple of years is our social media presence is pretty good, and I've only been on social media from Epic's perspective, maybe like around 3 or 4 years, and we went from like 5,000 or not even that, like 1,000 followers to 70,000 followers, 75,000 followers in probably about 2 years. And what's been crazy about that is I've been like at trade shows, even overseas, people approach me and go,
Right.
hey, you're Josiah, like we've learned so much. And I've had young guys reach out to me from around the country and ask me to kind of mentor them.
Right.
A guy called me this week about how to do an installation. I met him at a trade show, so I gave him some advice, and just free. I haven't charged anyone for any of this stuff. But that's been really cool. People have told me, hey, I'm a better boss now because of watching your videos. I'm a better business owner. I treat my employees differently. We're doing higher level installations. That's super rewarding. Like to be able to influence young new entrepreneurs and young new business owners,
Right.
especially to be better employers, treat their people better, do better level of work, which helps the whole industry. I was in Italy and had a couple approach me from New York. So they own a tile store, but they didn't know a lot about installation, and they've learned so much from the videos. And I don't really get embarrassed ever, except for those moments. Like it's so like somewhat awkward.
Yeah.
But you're also like gives you a lot of pride.
Yeah.
So I love that. I've thought about doing more, trying to take a bigger role in mentoring. One thing I'm excited about is I'm in the model of remodeling my own personal home.
Okay.
And most of our job is to execute people's creative minds like yourself, right? You give
Right.
us, you design it, we go and we execute it, and that's what we have to do.
Right.
So with my own home, it's giving me opportunity to do a lot of design when it comes to the tile and the stone, and I can see tile and the stone and how to use it in ways that not all the designers could because of our familiarity with it, right?
Yeah.
And how we fabricate it. So I'm doing some really, really cool things in my house
Nice.
that I'm really excited to showcase, and I think I would love to be able to take that to a different level in my career, to be more of a stone designer. Like they'll hire a lighting specialist,
Right, right.
So to be more of the stone designer that designers could turn to and be a collaborative effort, but I might be able to show them things that we could do and create that they might not be able to envision due to the experience that I have. So I think that could be then one of the next chapters of my career.
That's really cool. I think that'd be super helpful because, we rely on our experts to help us. I mean, there's kind of a connotation with designers that they design things that can't actually be executed at times, right? You've never come across that, right?
No, never. Well, the good ones know it can be done. I've had some designers where you're like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, you're like, ugh. But I think that's really cool because I've learned so much from, our installers or contractors that just, hey, I have this idea. And it's when you work together that those are kind of the best ideas, like when you're kind of collaborating with your skill set. So like we come up with ideas, but the more you work on projects, the more experience you have, that you can lean into your experts in the industry, and you are an expert in this. So there's so much possibility that can be done with the collaboration of it. And I don't think you probably even realize just why you even started doing the social media and talking about the tile installation, how much that helps. I mean, because it gives inspiration to probably so many people when you're doing something this way, and now you're showing the whole world, and you're getting, people coming up to you going, thank you.
Yeah,
You probably had no idea that wasn't even going to happen.
I didn't. No, I was shocked, pleasantly surprised. And the feedback that's so rewarding is so that I hear so often is like, I've learned so much. I've learned so much. I've learned, like, you guys do these puzzle installations, a certain type of fabrication you do. That's what, that's been really rewarding to hear that
Right.
we're educating. And, I do tile in the stone, and my aspiration was to do tile in the stone really, really well. I never wanted to do wood flooring. I never wanted to do
Right.
anything else. People ask me, why don't you do this, expand this? No, I know what I'm good
Right.
at, and I want to be the best at it. And I
Yeah.
want to be able to inspire and be the industry leader. And so focusing on that, that's what gives us the ability to be able to do creative things that I think if you were trying to be a jack of all trades or do too many things, it would be harder to have that expertise. But because we're so dialed in and we're all, invest in technology and new tools, trying to be innovative in the methods how we fabricate, the textures, etc. So I think showing that creativity is more and more is what I really enjoy doing. And social media is a part of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm loving social media for that, just because it's fun to see the behind the scenes, because it's really fun to see beautiful pictures. But to be honest, you do want to watch when you're showing like this really cool installation. I've been enjoying watching your home. I'm like, wow, that's amazing what he's doing. Like, how are you coming up with these ideas just from like past projects, or just kind of, are you doing anything that's like out of this world that you've never done before?
Yeah, in my house, I'm doing about 5 different things that we've never done at anyone's house that
Really?
are really going to be cool. So if you check out our social media, you'll see it. But honestly, even in social media, I've even shown mistakes we made.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like being authentic and being real. Yeah, we've made some stupid decisions or installed something and we thought we did it right and we messed it up. And
Yeah.
I'll show that.
Well, those are very helpful, because I remember watching one. I'm like, that's a great point to not do that. And because you were like, hey, we had to take all the tile down. I think it was a shower that you'd shown, and you had to take the tile down. I forget exactly what the reason was. But those are good, helpful things for people to not make mistakes.
because people try and create a certain image in social media, like everything's perfect, everything's
Right.
great, and lots of things we do are, but there's some things that sometimes it doesn't go right, and
Right.
even with the best intentions, and maybe you think you're doing the right method or you think you're doing something the way it's supposed to, but due to an unforeseen circumstance or maybe something you just didn't know, you have to redo that work.
Right.
So that sucks. But I'm a human being, and we make mistakes. We try and make few of them, but when they happen, I'm going to be honest with you. And if you can learn from my success, and you can probably learn even more from my failures. So I'm willing to,
Absolutely.
to be real about it.
Is there anything in your career that you look back and go, okay, that was a big, huge mistake, but I've learned so much from it, or that you were able to grow from?
So I got involved in a clothing company.
Oh, wait, this just took a turn.
And so in the stone business, there's nothing probably that I would say was a huge mistake.
Okay.
Taking on, I have a slab company. We
Yep.
supply slab, and so that's been a huge learning curve because I never had a company where we inventoried material and really understood the sell cycle and how the timing to buy. So that's been, I don't regret that. It's been a learning curve, but I enjoy the job. I enjoy the aspect of the business, and I think we're going to continue to build on it. So things like that. The clothing company, which is something I was a passion project with a friend,
Yeah.
and that one didn't end up just being spread too thin and not having enough experience.
Yeah.
I think the idea, what we were doing was really unique and it was cool, but it was a little bit ahead of its time and a little bit of lack of experience as well. So
Yeah.
that one kind of, I would like to redo that one.
You would? Hey, you never know. I see the T-shirt already with the Andy Warhol pop. You can start with that. Okay, if you had to give anybody advice, that's someone that's starting out right now, what would you say, like, the most important thing is for someone starting a business, or maybe there's a 17-year-old kid listening. Maybe my son's going to listen to this podcast. And what would you say to someone that's to inspire them?
I would say find your passion and always be true to yourself. I think we so get stuck in a world, I feel like now more than ever, worrying about what everyone thinks, right? Everyone's being judged on social media. Everyone's got something to say. We're all trying to live up to this fairy tale, ultra glamorous life that's not real. So find what your passion is, what you really want to do, and then be true to yourself. Because if you find that and you stick to it, I almost guarantee you're going to be successful to some degree.
I agree with that so much. That's something I live by. I truly feel like if people actually just looked within themselves, I I was a teacher. I don't know if you know that, but that was something I really loved is looking at kids and seeing what their gifts were. And I feel like if society actually really put more effort on finding people's gifts and enhancing those gifts, that is what you're supposed to do. Like really what you're passionate about. I truly believe that the world would be a better place. And I think that's excellent advice. So I'm right in line with you on that. So, where anything else you want to share with me that we didn't talk about?
I just got married 2 weeks ago today.
Ah, something really special.
Yeah,
Congrats.
that
I'm so
was
happy for you.
yeah. I still get used to saying the using the expression "my wife," but
Yes.
I could not be happier. And just that was unexpected. Didn't think I could fall in love at my age, and I did, and that's been amazing. So it's great to have a partner in life, and we have these aspirations, and it's nice to have someone there to support you and help make us the best version of ourselves. So.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Thank
You
you so
deserve
much.
it.
Oh, thank you.
And I think, having that right person in your life, it really does enhance and kind of like makes everything brighter, right? The colors are more saturated. Life just gets a little bit better. You're able to kind of look at life through a different lens.
And have someone to share it all with.
Yeah, because you should be
Inspire you.
proud. Yeah, you should be proud. You've accomplished a lot. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud to be. Tell everybody how we can find you if they are looking for the best tile installation, stone fabrication, tile studio, slab studio. I mean, you have it all covered. You've got everything.
So at Epic Ceramic and Stone on Instagram,
Okay.
at Famosa Tile is my tile and stone showroom, and at the underscore slab studio is where we sell our slabs. So those are our Instagram handles.
All right. Well, everybody's going to be watching you now, especially more. So I'm excited to have you. Thank you again.
Thanks for this opportunity. Thanks for letting me be the first guest.
Oh
I
my
feel
gosh.
very, very honored. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
You're welcome.
And congratulations.
Thank you. It's fun, huh?
Yeah,
Not a bad spot.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
You can use it anytime.
All right.
All right.